We were kids together, and she's always been there. So it was a strange thing. I didn't know whether I would be able to carry on, and I just didn't know. But I thought, well,
Picture this. One of the world's biggest music stars, a man who once had women fainting at his concerts, now sits alone in a quiet London apartment, talking to photographs every single night. At 85 years old, Tom Jones has everything money can buy, but the one thing he wants most is gone forever. This is the heartbreaking story of how fame couldn't protect him from life's cruelest blow. Tom Jones wasn't always the smooth, confident performer we know today. He was born as Thomas Jones Woodward in a tiny Welsh town called Pontypridd in 1940. His world was nothing like the glittering stages he would later command. His father worked deep underground in dangerous coal mines, coming home every night covered in black dust and exhaustion. His mother stayed home, trying to stretch every penny to feed the family. They lived in a small house where the only heat came from a tiny coal fire, and Tom wore hand-me-down clothes that had been patched over and over again. But even as a little boy, Tom had something special. By age 5, his voice was so powerful that grown-ups would stop what they were doing just to listen to him sing in the church choir. His mother, despite having almost no money, would save coins to buy him records or pay for bus rides so he could perform at local events. For young Tom, standing on any stage felt like magic. It lifted him away from the poverty and struggle, even if it was just for a few minutes. School was a nightmare for Tom. He had dyslexia, but back then, nobody understood what that meant. Teachers thought he was lazy because reading and writing were so hard for him. He felt stupid and lost. But at night, everything changed. He would tune into the radio and listen to American singers like Elvis Presley and Little Richard. Their voices seemed to speak directly to his soul. He would copy their style, practicing for hours, slowly building the voice that would one day make him famous. When Tom was 12, disaster struck. He got tuberculosis, a disease that could kill you back then. For 2 whole years, he was locked away in his bedroom, unable to go to school or play with friends. People were so scared of catching the disease that neighbors avoided his house. Family members wore masks and gloves when they brought him food. From his window, Tom watched other kids playing and laughing, but he couldn't join them. He was like a prisoner in his own home. During those long, lonely months, music became his best friend. His parents bought him a record player, and he spent endless hours listening to songs and singing along as loud as he could. This is where his incredible voice really developed. The passion that would later thrill millions of fans was born in that small, isolated room. There was one bright spot during this dark time. A local girl named Linda Trenchard would walk past his house and look up at his window to give him a smile and a wave. Those simple gestures meant everything to Tom. Sometimes they would pass notes through friends. Even though they were separated by glass and distance, their love grew stronger every day. By the time Tom was 16, he was done with school. He had struggled for years with reading and writing, and he frankly cared more about having fun than studying. So he quit without any qualifications, shocking his parents. He took whatever jobs he could find. He carried heavy bricks at construction sites and went door to door trying to sell vacuum cleaners. These were tough jobs, but they taught him what real life was like for working people. In March 1957, when Tom was just 16, he married Linda. She was pregnant, and in those days, that meant you had to get married no matter what. Their son Mark was born just a month later. Suddenly, Tom was a teenage father trying to support a family when most boys his age were still worrying about homework. The pressure was enormous. Tom worked construction during the day and shifts at a glove factory at night. He earned only £2 a week, which was almost nothing. But in the evenings, he came alive. He sang in pubs and working men's clubs. These performances didn't just put food on the table. They fed his soul. The smoky rooms and rowdy crowds gave him a taste of the life he desperately wanted. Everything changed in 1963 when Tom became the lead singer of a band called Tommy Scott and the Senators. Their old singer had disappeared, and Tom stepped in. His powerful voice and wild energy made every show unforgettable. He would leap off the stage, work up the crowd, and pour his heart into every single song. They became local legends in South Wales. One night, a manager from London named Gordon Mills came to see the band perform. The moment he heard Tom's voice, he knew he had discovered something incredible. Mills made a deal with Tom's current managers and moved him to London. He also gave him a new name, Tom Jones, taken from a popular movie at the time. Tom's first attempt at fame was a complete disaster. His first single, Chills and Fever, came out in late 1964 and flopped terribly. Nobody bought it. It didn't chart anywhere. Tom was broke, and Linda had to work in a factory just to pay the bills. Tom was ready to give up and go back to Wales. But Gordon Mills wasn't ready to quit. He had Tom record a demo of a song called It's Not Unusual. The song had originally been meant for another singer, but Tom begged for a chance to record it himself. Mills agreed, seeing it as their last hope. It's Not Unusual was released in February 1965, and it exploded like a rocket. By March, it hit #1 in the UK and reached #10 in America. The bold brass sound and Tom's incredible voice caught everyone's attention. Almost overnight, Tom Jones went from a struggling singer to a household name. That same year, Tom's voice became connected to Hollywood. He sang theme songs for major movies, including What's New Pussycat and the James Bond film Thunderball. When he sang the final note of Thunderball, he held it so long and with such power that he actually fainted. The room was spinning when he opened his eyes. These songs linked his name forever to the glamour of 1960s movies. By the end of 1965, Tom had done the impossible. He was one of the biggest stars of the British invasion. But his real breakthrough came when he arrived in Las Vegas in 1967. Everything changed there. He started performing at the Flamingo Hotel and quickly became the face of the Strip's wild, glittering nights. Tom's Vegas shows were unlike anything people had ever seen. He would stride onto the stage wearing tight leather pants and shirts unbuttoned almost to his belly button. His performances were full of hip thrusts and sweaty, passionate singing that left audiences breathless. Women would scream, faint, and throw their underwear onto the stage. Some people called it animal magnetism. Others called it scandalous. But it worked. By the late 1960s, Tom was making $100,000 every week in Vegas. In today's money, that would be over $500,000. He performed there for an incredible 44 years, until 2011. During this time, he sold over 100 million records worldwide. He stood shoulder to shoulder with legends like Elvis Presley and Frank Sinatra, who both admired and respected him. In 1969, Tom got his own television variety show called This Is Tom Jones. It ran for 65 episodes and was a hit in both America and Britain. The show featured incredible duets with superstars like Janis Joplin, Aretha Franklin, Stevie Wonder, and Ella Fitzgerald. These weren't just ordinary TV performances. They were magical moments that brought together different musical styles and generations. While he was wowing audiences, Tom was also building a business empire. He invested his money wisely in airlines, slot machine companies, and real estate. These smart investments made sure he would stay wealthy long after the cheers faded. By 2025, his fortune had reached $300 million. But behind all the glitter and success, there was a dark side to Tom's story. At the height of his fame, he admitted to sleeping with about 250 different women every year. That's nearly 5 different women every single week. His wife, Linda, who had married him when she was just 16, suffered deeply because of his behavior. The endless headlines and whispers about Tom's affairs broke Linda's spirit. She became depressed and slowly withdrew from the world. Tom himself later admitted that his behavior had scarred her and destroyed her happiness. She became a recluse in their Los Angeles mansion, avoiding public life and rarely leaving home. The woman who had once been his biggest supporter was left in the shadows, broken by betrayal. One of Tom's affairs in 1973 had shocking consequences. He had a fling with Marjorie Wallace, the first American Miss World. When photos of them kissing on a beach became public, she lost her crown, her engagement, and nearly her life. The scandal drove her to a breakdown and an overdose that put her in the hospital. In 1987, when Tom was 47, he met a 24-year-old model named Catherine Berkery at a nightclub in New York. What started as a chance meeting became a 3-night affair at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. 3 months later, Catherine discovered she was pregnant. When she reached out to Tom's team for help, she got a cold response. That's showbiz, darling. Do what you have to do. On June 27, 1988, she gave birth to a boy named Jonathan. Tom refused to admit he was the father for over 20 years. Catherine had to take Tom to court in 1989. The legal fight was messy and public. Tom's lawyers attacked Catherine's character and tried to paint her as a gold digger. But a DNA test showed with 99.76% certainty that Tom was Jonathan's father. Even after the truth was proven, Tom kept his distance. He didn't accept Jonathan as his son publicly for almost 2 decades. The court ordered Tom to pay child support between $1,000 and $3,800 per month, plus school fees and medical costs. But while the money came, the fatherly love did not. Tom stayed away. He didn't visit Jonathan, avoided court hearings, and had no personal contact. In interviews, he would say he had only one child, Mark, completely ignoring Jonathan's existence. For Jonathan, that rejection left a deep wound that never healed. As he grew up, he often spoke about his wish to meet his father. In 2018, at age 30, Jonathan was homeless and trying to start a singing career. He made a heartbreaking plea through the press, saying, "I want to see him before it's too late. I'm not after his money. I just want to know him." But Tom never responded. Despite these personal scandals, Tom's career kept going strong. In 1988, he surprised everyone by working with the electronic group Art of Noise on a cover of Prince's Kiss. The song hit number 5 on the UK charts and brought him a whole new, younger audience. His biggest success came in 1999 with an album called Reload. It featured 15 duets with stars like Van Morrison, Robbie Williams, and the Stereophonics. The album went to number 1 in the UK and sold over 4 million copies worldwide. Sex Bomb became a massive hit single. In 2006, Queen Elizabeth II knighted Tom at Buckingham Palace. The coal miner's son from Wales stood proudly as he received this incredible honor. He said it was a humbling moment and thanked his fans for standing by him through everything. In 2012, at age 71, Tom became a judge on The Voice UK. He joined younger stars on the panel and won over a completely new generation of fans. His kindness, humor, and deep musical knowledge made him a favorite with both viewers and contestants. But Tom's world completely fell apart in April 2016. That's when Linda, his wife of 59 years, was diagnosed with terminal lung cancer. The news came fast, and so did the end. Linda died just weeks later on April 10, 2016, at Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles. Tom was on tour when he heard the terrible news. He canceled all his shows across Asia and the Middle East to be by her side. The speed of her decline shocked everyone. Tom said the loss was so deep that he couldn't see a way forward. Their love story, which had lasted nearly 6 decades, ended in heartbreak. In her final week, Linda showed amazing strength. Even while she was suffering, she thought only of Tom. She made him promise that he wouldn't fall apart after she was gone. She said to him, "You can't fall with me." Those words became his anchor. Linda told Tom he had to keep going, to find a purpose beyond her death. Every time he stepped on stage after that, he felt Linda there with him, almost as if she was watching and cheering him on. But the pain was almost too much to bear. Tom admitted he didn't know if he would survive the grief. He spoke of days when he couldn't get out of bed. He would dream of Linda and wake up to the crushing reality that she was gone. His son Mark urged him to get help. A therapist told him bluntly, "If you don't carry on, you will die." That stark warning pushed Tom forward. Tom couldn't stay in the Los Angeles mansion they had shared. It was filled with too many memories of Linda. Her favorite animal, Prince, her personal touches, everything reminded him of what he had lost. Linda had always wanted to return to the UK, so Tom sold the house and moved back to London. It was his way of letting go. Now Tom lives alone in London at age 85. The silence in his apartment reminds him daily of Linda's absence. He has said, "I hear her voice. I see her a lot at night." He talks to her photographs every single day. He kept her clothes and perfumes untouched for years. The loneliness runs incredibly deep. All his fame and fortune cannot fill the empty space Linda left behind. Tom's health has suffered greatly too. In 2017, and again in 2022, he had hip replacement surgeries. Years of high-energy performing had taken a terrible toll on his body. He now uses canes and often performs while sitting down. In 2022, during a concert in Budapest, he collapsed and had to cancel several shows. The physical pain has been severe, but Tom refuses to retire. He says, "Time off would be death for me. The only time I'll take off is when I die." In 2023, at age 85, he still performed more than 50 shows. The stage is the only place where he feels truly alive. When the show is over, the crushing loneliness returns, but on stage, he can forget his pain for a little while. Tom carries tremendous guilt about Linda's death. He wonders if he could have done something to save her. He questions whether his years of touring left her too alone. He has even spoken to psychics, desperately hoping for a message from her. Every song he sings now carries that emotional weight, as if he's trying to reach back to the life they once shared. The man who once had the world at his feet now battles sorrow every single day. But he keeps singing because it's the only way he knows how to survive. At 85, Tom Jones has learned that all the success in the world means nothing without the people you love by your side. His story is a reminder that fame and fortune can't protect us from life's deepest heartaches. Behind the legend is simply a man who misses his wife terribly and talks to her picture every night, hoping somehow she can still hear him. If this story touched your heart, please hit that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Don't forget to subscribe for more incredible stories about the legends we thought we knew. Thanks for watching, and remember, there's always more to the story than meets the eye.